Hi, my name is Lily Volbrecht, and this is my opposition fourth speech. The three anticipated proposition arguments are: 1, quality of life, reduced suffering improves quality of life. 2nd, productivity, lack of negative emotions means people are more productive, stable, and emotionally consistent. And 3rd, safety, violence stems from pain. Opposition's three biggest arguments are: 1, human experience. Experiencing negative emotions is central to what makes us human. 2nd, meaning. Pain is what gives joy significance. And 3rd, development. Negative emotions are necessary for moral development. Right now, someone is grieving because they love someone enough to lose them. Someone is afraid because they care about what's at stake. Someone is angry that something unjust happened. These emotions hurt, but they're real and they matter. They're not just background noise to be shut off. They're what reminds us we're alive, that we care, and that something is really, really worth fighting for. On those grounds, so incredibly proud to oppose. Just 3 things in today's speech. First, I will be going over and knocking down their biggest push and telling you why we still win. 2nd, extending our biggest push. And 3rd, moving on to some world's analysis and weighing. So what has their biggest push from the first speech been? They told you that pain and sadness are roadblocks to efficiency, to safety, and to happiness. They painted a world where people are emotionally consistent, mentally stable, and free from the internal chaos that causes violence or causes suffering. They argued that if we could turn these emotions off, we live in a better, more peaceful, more productive world, and it would just be better. But this version is dangerously shallow, because suffering isn't just something that you have to endure. It's something that gives shape to everything else. Pain is what teaches us empathy. Sadness is how we've honored what we've lost. Fear is what keeps us safe. Anger is what pushes us to demand change in the face of inequity. You remove those, and you don't create peace, you create pacificity. Proposition has said, without pain, we get safety. But what we actually lose is motivation, to resist injustice, to speak up, to love deeply, and to fight for what's right. Because without grief, what's love? Without fear, what's bravery? In their world, emotions aren't part of the human experience, they're obstacles to be erased. And that's not utopia, that's emptiness. What has our biggest push been then? Our biggest push in this debate was simple, that to be human is to feel. Not just happiness in isolation, but happiness because we've known sorrow. Growth isn't born out of neutrality, it comes from heartbreak, from struggle, from the hard emotions that force us to reflect and rebuild. Side proposition wants you to think that people can still choose to feel, that this is an opt-in system, harmless if you value grief, optional if you don't. But that's actually just a utopian fantasy, because the moment that this tech becomes possible, it becomes expected. Employers won't want workers who take time to process loss. Partners will prefer those who don't cry, don't rage, and don't hurt. People who still feel will be seen as unstable, insufficient, or even selfish. Choosing to suffer when they could have been optimized. This isn't freedom. This is quiet cultural coercion. And the consequence, a world that starts to see emotion not as essential, but as access. People begin to flatten their inner lives just to fit in. You get a society of high-functioning, unfeeling shells, people who never feel shattered, sure, but never feel awe either. You don't just dull the lows, you erase the highs. Some quick worlds analysis then. The proposition world is emotionally quiet. No sadness, no fear, and no grief. But also no reflection, no moral clarity, no transformation. People might be productive, but they really aren't present. They feel less, and because of that, they care less. Our world might be harder, but it is fuller. People cry and they hurt, but they grow. They love, they lose, and they heal. And when they laugh or feel joy, it matters because it's real. Our world doesn't run from emotion, it embraces it, learns from it, and becomes better through it. So even if proposition gives you a world with fewer breakdowns or less discomfort, we give you a world where happiness actually means something. On those grounds, so incredibly proud to oppose.